Welcome to Circle Sanctuary's first full moon broadcast of 2023. I'm Reverend Judith, and we are delighted to celebrate Befana night with you tonight. If you didn't know her tale already, Befana is an old woman, a crone in Italian folklore, who visits all the children of Italy on the eve of the feast of the Befana, Epiphany, which is tomorrow. Also known as the Christmas witch, she fills their socks with candy and presents if they have been good, or a lump of coal if they have been bad, on this night of January 5th. Tonight, we'll celebrate the full moon and the various stories of La Befana from throughout the ages and across many religious traditions. And we give thanks to the wonderful Circle Sanctuary volunteers that are here with us tonight to share Befana night magic and lore. It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce our senior minister and high priestess, Reverend Selena Fox.
Thank you, Judith. Well, we have a full moon and Befana night coinciding in this first month of 2023. I invite you to attune and commune with the Befana night full moon. Some people know this night as Befana night. That's my favorite name for this time of year. But it's also known as Yuletide's End. And those of you who know about the 12 days of Christmas, inspired by the multi-days and nights of Yuletide that predated Christianity, will know that tonight, January 5th, is sometimes known as Twelfth Night or Epiphany Eve. Well, by whatever name that you call it, bright blessings. We're going to be joining together in a variety of ways tonight. If you would like to, we invite you to have a candle that you can kindle, or if you don't physically have one, you can use your imagination. If you happen to have paper and pen nearby, it would be good to get that, because we're going to have Befana gifting as part of our healing working tonight. Thank you all for being here, and I welcome Jill to tell us some announcements of things coming up.
Greetings. I'm Jill, and I'm broadcasting from Bloomington, Illinois. Welcome to Circle Sanctuary's first full moon circle of the secular year 2023. This is the start of a wonderful turn of the wheel time with lots of circle events already planned for the year. Please check our website for the full schedule. This month, we have our Green Faith Eco-Activism Zoom gathering at 11 a.m. Central Time on Saturday, January 14th. Please join the Green Faith Facebook page for a link or contact Reverend Charbert for more information. Save the date for Saturday, February 4th for Circle's In Bulk Festival. Details will be announced soon. The following day, Sunday, February 5th, is our Loving Kindness Full Moon Circle broadcast at 7 p.m. Central Time. We hope you'll join us again then. And please make sure to tune into Circle Sanctuary Network podcasts throughout the month. You can find the schedule on Circle's website or on Facebook at CSNP Podcasts, where you can also find recordings of over 800 previous broadcasts. Please remember that donations and memberships are very important for the upkeep of our nature preserve and spiritual outreach. So please check out ways to contribute on Circle's website at circlesanctuary.org. Until we meet again, wishing all a healthy and happy new year and blessed in bulk. So with that, I'd like to introduce our our good friend Laura, as she will be casting our circle.
Greetings, everybody, and Happy New Year to all of you who celebrate. I invite you all to, in this very magical night, to first of all, take a deep breath, to center and connect with each other as we create this magical online circle that goes beyond time and beyond space. To the north, from the frozen lands of the earth, as she slumbers through the winter, we call the energies of the earth, the strength and stability, to be with us in our circle tonight. Hail and welcome, Earth. So be it. To the east, the place of the rising sun, that even when we cannot see at this cold winter nights and days, we know our sun god is there. From the east, the place of beginnings, on this auspicious day, we call up the energy of the air to help us celebrate tonight. Hail and welcome, air. So be it. To the south, the place of fire, where is now warmth on the southern hemisphere. We call on the energy of warmth and fire, dynamic movement and creativity. We call the element of fire to be with us tonight. Hail and welcome, fire. So be it. And to the west, we call to the element of water. Water that is life and is abundant. Water that keeps us healthy and safe. Welcome, water. So be it. To the cosmos, to the celestial bodies, to the energies of the creator, creatrix, to the source, we welcome you to our circle. So be it. And to the earth in which we walk, Gaia, Pacha, Coatlicue, you who have had many names, welcome to our circle. Divine Spirit, we know you're always with us. Our magical circle is cast. So be it.
Thank you, Reverend Laura. I invoke the spirit of hope. In this new year of 2023, we welcome into our midst hope for good things to happen in 2023. We welcome into our midst hope that our species will do an even better job than it has done before, and that we will achieve positive outcomes for the planet and for each other. We welcome hope that expectations will be fulfilled, just like the little children did who awaited Befana's gifts in the night. We welcome stability and endless amazement. Welcome, Spirit of Hope, to this circle. So be it.
Thank you, Shar, for that uplifting invocation. We need more kids in our midst. My name is Richard, and I'm broadcasting from southern Wisconsin, where it's cold. I have set the logs in the Circle Sanctuary fire pits for many years. For the past 3 years, I have kindled a beeswax candle to represent the blazing fires that we don't have. January is a cold month in the northern hemisphere. We need fires for warmth and light. I light this beeswax candle that is ecologically acceptable because it's recycled from the bees to represent the full moon bonfires that us pagans light to celebrate the full moon and also the return of the sun. So mote it be. Next, Judith will present a full moon song with all of us lighting our own individual candles.
And as we go to gallery view, I welcome all of my fellow presenters here as we light our candles to welcome all of you who are watching live now or later. This is a song by Heather Houston. In the light of the full moon, I am love, offering my prayers to rise above the thoughts and the fears that hold me down from thriving on this earth as she spins around. In the light of the full moon, I am peace, offering my heart to be released from the things that no longer serve my soul, knowing now that I am whole. In the light of this new full moon, new year full moon time, may we find love, peace, and joy, blessing the months as they come along, giving thanks for this time where we belong. Selena now has some Befana lore for us.
Befana flies tonight, and I am here to celebrate her across cultures and around the world. We call not only the full moon into our circle, but Befana, also known as La Befana. Come, be with us, Befana, and guide us in our connections with you, with this new year, with this sacred time. Befana night, full moon right, making magic for blessings bright. Befana night, full moon right, making magic for blessings bright. Befana night, full moon right, making magic for blessings bright. Well, who is Befana? We welcome Befana here in a number of her forms. We call to her in what many people consider her original form, the Roman goddess of the new year, Strenua or Strenyae, and her name gives us the word for strength, strenuous, strong. And some say even before she was an ancient Roman pagan goddess, Strenua, she was from an ancient Italic people in central Italy, northeast of Rome. And it was about 290 before the Common Era when those people became part of the larger Roman civilization and culture. And she's continued to move across cultures and faith traditions since that time. In ancient Rome, on New Year's Day, the government had the new year for the government, and the councils who were running the government during the Republic assumed their office. So we know at least as far back as 153 before the Common Era, twigs from Strenua's grove were gathered and carried in procession as part of this whole political transformation. Gifts were exchanged on New Year's Day. In fact, the name Strenyai was a name associated with her as well as the gifts. So part of the customs of La Befana, Befana's night on January 5th seem to actually have gotten their start back on New Year's Day, and possibly even before that, for some accounts link her with the Saturnalia, which was the ancient Roman winter solstice celebration that lasted for a few days and nights to even a week, or possibly longer, depending on when you look at the time in Roman history. Some say that this goddess took the form of an old wise woman priestess. And as Saturnalia drew to a close, it usually was on or near December 23rd, people would go to one of the temples and connect with a crone priestess who would do divination. So she's part of solstice, we know that, and we also know that she has connections with the new year. In 1823, the vestiges of ancient manners and customs discoverable in modern Italy and Sicily was released. It was written by Reverend John J. Blunt. And here is a bit about Befana and her connection with Strenua. This Befana appears to be heir at law of a certain heathen goddess called Strenua, who presided over New Year's gifts, the Strenai, from which indeed she derived her name. Her presents were of the same description as those of Befana. Gifts of different types, dates, and honey. Moreover, her solemnities were vigorously opposed by the early Christians on account of their noisy, riotous, and licentious character. Well, you had that as part of Saturnalia, and you think that after a week that should be a great way to bring in the new solar year, but the Romans liked having their festivals, and so at the beginning of New Year there was more partying. And yes, it's interesting to see how this old crone, this wise woman goddess, the goddess of New Year, the goddess of vigor and strength, how she started evolving as Roman civilization shifted from its pagan format to Christianity. As with so many traditions and forms of the divine, those who really have a hold in a particular area, as it became Christianized, well, they got recycled, repurposed, took on a Christian guise. And so is the case with Befana. She became part of the story of the three kings. And in a little bit, Laura will tell you a bit more about the three kings, but I'll tell you the three kings lore involving Befana. So the Magi, and who were the three kings that visited the Christ child in various accounts of the Nativity? Well, most say they were Zoroastrian astrologer priests, and they saw a star, and part of the reason you see a lot of five-pointed stars around Yuletide, solstice time, Christmas time, Epiphany, and yes, the Eastern Christian Church has their Christmas on the 7th. of, of, of January. So we're in for multiple celebrations, but it's something that also has its roots in the ancient pagan past. It is said that the Magi went looking, following the star and looking for the Christ child, and came by Befana's home. And she invited them in. They invited her to go with them on this quest to see the child of light. Well, she was OCD with her housework, really into cleaning, and whether she actually was obsessive compulsive disorder, that's OCD or not, who knows, but she was really attached to her housework and decided, nope, I need to stay here and take care of business. Well, three kings disappeared. And then she thought, I probably should go. Well, she got on her broom, and this is actually a broom I got at Yuletide, so I give thanks for our community Yule. Went on her broom, and it magically became an airborne traveling device. And she went off in search of the child of light and the Magi. Well, now this is when the story gets into a whole lot of different versions. I'll give you one version, which is, well, she gathered up gifts, flew around on her broom, looked for the Christ child, didn't connect with the Magi, but saw a lot of children along the way and started gifting the children. So that is one of the stories of La Befana that connects it with the visit of the Magi. Now, some who look into Christian history will know that we don't have a record in the Bible about when Jesus was born. And in fact, some say that the Magi actually showed up a long time after the actual birth, but they've kind of gotten compressed in a mythical, magical way. So I celebrate Befana as part of that Christian Christmas story because there's magic there, but I also celebrate her as the ancient Roman goddess of the new year. And if you know your folklore from old pagan Europe, you will know that Befana is actually part of a troupe of winter goddess crones. Now, there are lots of different crone goddesses, but the embodiment of wintertime often took the form of a winter goddess crone. In Celtic lands, the Cailleach was her name. In Slavic lands, Baba Yaga. And in parts of Germany and other parts of Europe, especially the Alpine regions, you have Frau Holla, who also is known as Perkta or Bertha, and she actually has a whole troupe of kind of beastie, monstrous-like beings that go out with the wild hunt. So these winter crones can take a lot of different forms. I see that Befana has a lot in common with her winter crone sisters. And that even includes Babushka and a whole bunch of other ones. And you may see images and depictions and hear stories around about winter time from one or more of these goddesses. I think it's really important to celebrate Befana across time and across cultures and know that Befana tonight, Befana's night, there are people who are from different pagan traditions, not just Italian and Roman ones. They might call themselves Strega folk, but people from a variety of different ethnicities and places in the world that have gathered tonight to celebrate Befana Night and the magic of this new year crone goddess. Well, I would like to share this Befana lore and magical evening lore some more via another one of our priestesses and ministers. So, Reverend Laura will let us know about the three kings.
Hello, everybody. And as I'm talking about kings, of course, I have to wear my crown as a queen. And I want to talk about the three wise men, or the Reyes Magos, as we know them throughout Latin America, Los Tres Reyes Magos, as Reverend Selena said earlier. They were on a quest. They were looking for the divine child. They were looking for the kid that was born. And the lore, the tradition, the folklore on Latin American countries is exactly very, very similar to what Selena just shared with us, that they went out looking for the sun reborn. The sun is the sun. The sun is the sun. I will always say that. And they got lost. They were coming from far, far away. And the only way they could find the place where they were supposed to come and see this child was through the shining star. And they keep following, but they got lost, and that's why they came late. And the thing is, they in places in Latin American countries, they tell us the three wise men, Melchor, Gaspar, y Baltasar, that's their names in Spanish. They represent the whole of the earth. And that's why one rides on a camel, and one rides on a horse, and one rides on an elephant, representing Africa, Asia, and Europe. And as a child, I remember always wondering, and which one represents America? There is not one that represents America, but nonetheless, we love them and we adore them, and we really, really, they became part of this season celebration throughout all Latin America. Why? Because they were huge in Spain. I mean, that's where they are huge, is in Spain. And it's funny because Italy is so close to Spain, and Europe is about this big, but the same way they were number one hit on Spain. And from, they say, the 1800s, 1866, I was just researching, there is cabalgata, or a march, that happens in Spain. And men and women and people dress like the three wise men, and they go out and they give gifts to children. And that old tradition obviously came with colonization across the pond and into America, the continent, and escaped the United States somehow. But worry not, we all immigrants are going to bring it to the United States. And the tradition, the folklore around them is Santa Claus is new for us. Santa Claus is the new one. And Santa Claus will bring you what you need. He will bring you underwear and clothes and school supplies and a jacket, kind of boring. But Los Reyes Magos, oh, you better believe that January 6th, all children will wake up to so many toys and fun gifts, and there will be not one pair of socks under the tree on tomorrow's morning. So much so that schools allow children to bring their toys and play at school. It is a wonderful tradition. So what you do, and I was trying to get a photograph and show it to you on a proper way, but technology for once is not being my friend. So I'm gonna try to do this inception photograph. I think it's working. I see nothing, people. This is La Rosca de Reyes. La Rosca de Reyes. Say it 3 times fast. I know you can't. So this is the 3 wise men, or the 3 king magi, rosca, like a round cake. And because the lore is that they were looking for the holy child, right? But that holy child was already being persecuted. So they hid the child. So traditionally we made the rosca, and some tiny, tiny little baby Jesus made out of plastic are hidden in the rosca. They are hidden in the bread. And when you cut the bread, if you stumble into one of those little plastic tiny little babies, first of all, is a sign of great blessing to your home, because the holy child is in your home. So you cut the cake, you get him. But there is more. The tradition in Mexico particularly, I don't know in other countries, but in Mexico particularly, if you cut the rosca and you get the baby, then you have to prepare tamales. You have to prepare tamales for February 2nd for candle mass. Now, don't tell anybody that I told you it's a pagan connection. But I wonder if Mexican people know that they've been making tamales for eons of time to celebrate Goddess Bridget. Don't tell the Mexicans, please don't tell them. There's some other fun facts that I want to share with you. And some of it is this superstition around the 3 wise men. As I said in Spanish, is Los Reyes Magos, right? The Magi Kings. And some people will see magic as a scary thing. It has a bad connotation. It has a bad reputation. So traditionally, a lot of people who are very devout Catholic, they take up all the decorations tonight on December 5th, so that the Magi don't enter their home on the 6th. It's kind of paradoxical, I know, because you get the gifts for the kids, but you don't want the Magi to stay. You don't want them to feel too welcome, I guess. I say, believe what you will, but bring happiness to your life. Bring yourself gifts to your life on this holy day. And if you are a witch or an astrologer or a magician of any kind, celebrate your royalty on today's day and celebrate the 3 wise men, and more than anything, the birth of the sun. Who is the sun? Who is the sun? Blessings to all.
This is a children's song called La Befana, or The Christmas Witch, and it was written by Make Like Monkeys. You know very well, you know old Saint Nick, but did you know that Italy has got a Christmas witch? Like Santa, she brings toys soon after Christmas time, but don't leave milk and cookies out, leave an orange and some wine. She doesn't ride a sleigh, she flies upon her broom and sneaks into your house at night to leave presents in your shoe. But if you've been unkind or tawdry, cruel and mean, she'll fill your shoes with needle straws to pierce and make you bleed. She's covered black with soot, and she gives a cackle call with a crooked smile that never leaves. She casts shadows on the wall. She won't just leave you toys. She'll tidy up and clean. She sweeps your house with the broom she rides, but she likes to be unseen. So don't you ever look at her. Don't you sneak out of your bed, because if you dare to sneak a peek, she'll bring the broom down on your head. And if you catch her eye, you'll look tasty as can be. She'll bring you home a prone on her broom that night to feed you to her husband. So remember, kids, this year, after Christmas, more fun's near. The Befana's coming to your house to keep the covers up real tight. She doesn't ride a sleigh. She flies upon her broom and sneaks into your house at night to leave presents in your shoe. Like Santa, she brings toys soon after Christmas time, but don't leave milk and cookies out. Leave an orange and some wine. Wishing one and all a warm La Befana night with good wishes and cheer for a bright new year. Selena will now tell us about Befana's gifts.
Well, that was a fun song. And one of the fun things about having a international, interreligious, multilingual, multicultural being is there's so many different forms and lore and songs and traditions, and it's so wonderful to be together, not only those of us here doing the ceremony, but for all of you who are tuning in live or later. I invite you to call to mind as we begin the gifting part, start getting a sense of what form might Befana take for you. For we not only have her that we've called to be present, but she is a gift-bearing divine being. Now, you might want to envision her in what I call her kitchen witch aspect. Yes, this is a whisk, and there's a Befana on it. And in fact, many people will have a kitchen witch to bless their home and don't realize its connection with the La Befana. Or you might want to have an image of her and cloaked and with a basket full of goodies. Or you might have Befana with a bag of gifts on her back. And here she is with her broom. And of course, some forms of Befana have her with a lantern going out into the night to look for the child of light and those three kings. Another way that she might appear often has a kerchief on her head, and her nose often is very pronounced. And so these are just a few depictions of Befana. So I invite you to start getting a sense of her being present. And then if you have pen and paper, you can use that, or if you would rather do it with your imagination, that is just fine. In a few moments, our bard Chris is going to gift us with some music, and I invite you to call to mind a gift that you would like to have come into your 2023, into this new year for yourself and your home. Write that down as the music is playing. And then I invite you to call to mind those people, creatures, places, situations that are in need of some care, some gifting. It might be a healing that's needed for someone, or in the case of the USA, some better collaboration and truth telling and cooperation. Um, I'll let you decide whether you want to include that on your request for Befana tonight. I was part, right before our circle began, I was part of an interreligious gathering held in person outside of the Washington, D.C. nation's Capitol building, and also live stream where people from a number of faith traditions are taking this Epiphany Eve as a time to put out requests and prayers for preserving democracy and bringing about more kindness and hope and love and peace to the world, not just to the US. So we're going to have an opportunity tonight to envision Befana being present, putting out our request for ourselves and others as we hear some magical flute music. So write down your request and then imagine light, golden light, shining under the silver moon, flowing into those requests that you have noted. Befana night, full moon light, gifts of healing with sacred light. Befana night, full moon right, gifts of healing with sacred light. Befana night, full moon right, gifts of healing with sacred light. So be it. Blessings of healing for ourselves, for others. And as I play this singing bowl, let us invite Befana to fly around the world, bringing gifts of peace, of love, of cooperation, collaboration amongst humans, and being in better relation with the natural world. And let us also send some love and support to all of those who are being impacted by climate change and by war and other challenges on the planet. So Befana, we call upon you. Full moon, we call upon you. The beautiful golden light of this new solar year shimmering, with the silver light of the moon and the golden light of blessings of this new year. Healing and wellness around the planet on this full moon night. Blessings of Befana night, blessings of full moon night, blessings of sacred light, now and in times to come. So be it.
Thank you, Selena. And thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Before we close the circle, I must take a minute to clarify something that I just noticed on the comments that was misunderstood. Tamales are not pagan. The people made tamales for a very Christian Catholic celebration called Candelaria. And I was making a joke saying how pagan of us Mexicans to make tamales for Bridget. Please let not be misunderstood that my words take the origin of ancestry and indigenous ancestry on the Mexican food. It's not pagan, it's indigenous. With that clarification, I invite you all to center once again. Take a deep breath. We thank Divine Spirit for being with us always. We thank the elements. We thanked the air, the earth, the fire, and the water. We thanked the cosmos, and we thanked the earth. And we thank you, and we thank each other for being on the circle tonight. Our circle is open, but never broken. Merry we meet, merry we part, and merry we meet again. So mote it be.
And thank you, Spirit of Hope, for being a part of the energy we have raised within this full moon circle. So much hope running throughout all the cultural and spiritual themes we've heard tonight. Hope, may you manifest where and how you are most needed. And may you abide in our hearts as we conclude this ritual. And may we each in our own way be ambassadors of your spirit for the world, ever aware of the light we carry. Blessed be.
Thank you, Shar. Now, as we go to gallery view, I invite you all to hold up your candles. Thank you for celebrating this Befana night full moon circle live with us this evening, or if you're watching later. And thanks to these Circle Sanctuary volunteers. You have been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us with us tonight. Please join us again next month on Sunday, February 5th for our loving kindness full moon circle, right in time for Valentine's Day. And we hope to see you again then. Jill, would you please now tell us about membership and donations for Circle Sanctuary?
Thank you for joining us for our Full Moon Circle broadcast this evening, which has been brought to you by Circle Sanctuary's wonderful volunteers. Volunteers are a vital force in keeping Circle running, but we also need your donations for the upkeep of the sanctuary lands and its buildings, as well as our green cemetery. We want to keep the light on, the doors open, the roof over our temple room, and make our resource shop available to you. You can also become a member of whatever giving level is most comfortable for you in support of Circle's in-person and virtual festivals and rituals, our informational websites, as well as a wide variety of weekly Circle Sanctuary Network podcasts, CSNP. And we have over 800 podcasts archived for you to watch online at any time. For more information, please visit our website at circlesanctuary.org and join us by becoming a member or by making a donation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Befana.